Good day, everyone. I'm so glad you're here today because what we're about to discuss is going to change the way you view your life, your choices, and ultimately your future. Today, we're talking about one of the most fundamental things in life: control. It's a word that many of us might take for granted, but if you truly understand its power, you will see that everything you want in life comes from the control you take over your words, your emotions, your resources, and your mind. Too often, we go through life feeling like victims of our circumstances. We think that everything is happening to us, as if we have no say in the direction our lives take. We forget that there are powerful forces within us, forces that we can tap into to shape the life we desire. These forces begin with us, with our choices, and with our decisions. Let's start with something that seems so simple, yet has a profound impact on our lives: the words we speak. When you speak, you are creating your reality. The words you say to others and to yourself are the building blocks of your life. It's easy to overlook how much power our words hold. Words can build bridges, and they can also destroy them. The way you speak to others reflects how you see them, but more importantly, how you see yourself. If you constantly speak negatively about yourself or others, guess what? That's the energy you put out into the world. You start to believe that you are not capable, not worthy, or that the world is against you. This negativity creates a cycle that is hard to break. But what if you started changing the way you spoke? What if you decided to speak with intention, to speak with confidence, to speak with kindness, and to speak with purpose? When you begin to speak words of encouragement, not just to others, but to yourself, you start to change your self-image. You start to change the way the world responds to you. Words have the power to create or destroy, and when you learn to choose your words wisely, you start to create a new reality for yourself. Imagine waking up every day speaking words of affirmation, telling yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you have a purpose. The way you speak will influence how you feel, how you act, and how you show up in the world. But it's not just about the words you say aloud. It's also about the thoughts you have. Those thoughts are the silent words that guide your behavior. And that's where we start to touch on something even more powerful: your emotions. Emotions drive your actions more than we realize. We all know how quickly a bad mood can affect our day, right? A simple frustration or an offhanded comment can shift our entire emotional state. One moment, you might be feeling happy and full of energy, and the next, a wave of irritation or anxiety comes over you. But here's the thing: your emotions do not have to control you. You can control them. And when you begin to take control of your emotions, you begin to take control of your life. Emotions are signals. They tell us something about how we're feeling and what's going on inside us, but they do not have to dictate our actions. How many times have you reacted impulsively, letting anger or fear take over? In those moments, we often wish we could rewind and handle things differently. The good news is, we can. It all comes down to awareness. The first step in taking control of your emotions is recognizing them. When you become aware of your emotional state, you can then choose how to respond rather than react impulsively. Imagine, just for a moment, being able to recognize when you're feeling frustrated or upset, and instead of letting those emotions lead you, you take a deep breath, step back, and choose how you want to show up in that moment. When you take charge of your emotions, you become more grounded. You stop letting temporary moods or situations dictate your decisions. Instead, you begin to move through life with purpose and resilience. You'll find that when you can manage your emotions, you feel more empowered and in control of every situation. It's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about responding thoughtfully to them. Now, let's talk about something that's incredibly important but often misunderstood: managing your resources, particularly your money. I know this is a topic that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's a topic we need to dive into, because money is a powerful tool, and it's a tool that you have the ability to control. Many people go through life thinking that they're at the mercy of their financial situation. We believe that if we had more money, if we earned more, or if we just had a little bit of luck, everything would be better. But that's not how wealth works. It's not about how much you have, it's about how you manage what you've got. Take a moment and think about your relationship with money. Are you controlled by it, or do you control it? It's easy to slip into habits where we're living paycheck to paycheck, or spending impulsively, or ignoring our finances because they feel overwhelming. But what if you decided to take control? What if you started managing your money with purpose? What if you decided to budget, to save, to invest, and to make conscious financial choices that align with your long-term goals? When you start to manage your money consciously, you remove the stress and anxiety that often comes with financial instability. You gain the freedom to make choices that align with your values, not with the fear of not having enough. You begin to build security, not just for yourself, but for your future. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with knowing you have control over your financial situation. You can stop worrying about how to make ends meet. Instead, you start making choices that put you in a position to thrive, not just survive. Money is not the enemy, mismanagement is, and you have the power to change how you approach it. The final area where control is essential is perhaps the most powerful: your mind. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have at your disposal. What you think, believe, and focus on shapes your reality. Every single decision you make, every action you take, starts with a thought. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. But here's the thing: most people let their minds run on autopilot. We let the stories we've been told, the beliefs we've inherited, and the fears we've accumulated dictate our thoughts and actions. And then we wonder why we're stuck, why we can't seem to make progress. The truth is, your mind is not an unchangeable force. It is like a muscle that can be trained. It's about conditioning your mind to think in ways that serve you, rather than hold you back. The first step to taking control of your mind is awareness. Become aware of the thoughts that run through your mind. Are they positive? Are they empowering? Or are they negative, fearful, or self-limiting? Once you can identify the patterns, you can begin to shift them. Start to consciously replace those limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," start thinking, "I am capable and I will figure it out." Start using affirmations, visualization, and positive self-talk to rewire your brain. Your mind is your most valuable asset. The thoughts you entertain shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. By taking control of your thoughts, you begin to take control of your destiny. When you put all of these elements together, the power of your words, the control over your emotions, your mastery of resources, and the command of your mind, you start to create a life that is in your hands. You stop being a passive participant in your own story, and you start writing your own narrative. The reality you want to create is within your grasp. It's not something that happens by accident. It happens when you take control, when you become intentional about the way you speak, the way you feel, the way you manage your resources, and the way you think. It won't always be easy. There will be setbacks. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, and even failure. But remember this: failure is just a lesson, not a permanent state. The key to success is resilience, the ability to rise again after every setback. And when you begin to take control in these 4 areas of your life, you will become unstoppable. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, the key to mastering your life is not to wait for external circumstances to change, but to take control of what you can, starting with yourself. Keep pushing forward, keep growing, and never forget that the power is in your hands. Stay motivated, stay focused, and go create the life you deserve.